What's up, guys? nethervvoid here with more World of Tanks tank guides for you here, and as you can see, hopefully anyway, this is the Tier 6 British medium tank, the Cromwell. This thing is a beast. I love this tank. I didn't love it until I just got the biggest gun on it. Now I really love it. It had a weakness in the gun before I got it, and now I don't feel like this thing has many weaknesses. For a medium tank anyway. Obviously armor is going to be a weakness for most medium tanks, but I don't really consider that when I think about mediums. What I do consider is mobility, firstly, and then secondly, the gun. It's got to have kind of a decent gun because you're supposed to be dealing damage, but mainly mobility, next the gun. So this thing has both of those pretty much in spades. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit. This tank is pretty versatile. It's got a really high pen top gun, which is 145 pen, and with that you can actually pen a lot of same tiers in the front. For like tier 7 and 8, you're gonna have to get side shots probably, but even then you can probably pick out a couple weak spots and get the pen on these things. And so that is really awesome. It's something that you can't do with a lot of other medium tanks, even tier 6 mediums especially. You know, they don't have sometimes don't have the greatest guns and things like that. But this gun is pretty ridiculous. The 2.3 aim time and 0.36 accuracy, pretty awesome for the penetration and damage that it has, and the rate of fire. And this, you can't complain about this gun. I'll just say that. So, excuse me, sorry there. The way I play this tank is just flank and get into the cool flanking spots on the map. Kind of watch the mini-map, watch where the enemy team blob is, and try to get around them, and kind of screw up the enemy team. Try to draw their guns off of my teammates, and generally cause havoc with this thing. I like to also get as much damage as I can, obviously, and you can do that with this tank. You don't always have to aim in when you have the top gun, which is nice, because a lot of times you're going to be playing like peekaboo games, and you know, trying to get somebody to shoot, and you're popping back and forth, and you're doing crazy stuff like that. And so when you want to get that snapshot off, you don't want to have to aim in all the time, which is what I hate trying to do with other tanks. You're like 10 feet away, but you have to aim in to get the guy in the weak spot. I don't know why, but you have to. Since, I don't know, way back when you used to be able to kind of do shots without having to aim, and if you're relatively stable, the gunner would automatically choose kind of he would at least hit the tank, so you can't do that anymore. But anyway, so that's pretty much how I like to play this tank. I like to flank with it. It's pretty obvious. There's not a lot to learn about this tank on like how to play it, because it has kind of obvious stats. But so yeah, flank with it. Get into those great map positions. Try to watch the mini map and look where your teammates need help, and kind of help them out. Do pincer moves and stuff like that. Because with the mobility of this tank, you should have no excuses why you can't get across the map and help people out. So that's pretty much how I play it. Let's get into some stats here. 750 hit points, pretty standard. I don't even go over hit points really. Hit points are pretty standard to every tank, pretty much. There are just a few outliers, but generally all tanks are pretty much the same as far as hit points, in the same tier and same type, like a medium. Engine horsepower, 650 horsepower, pushing 28 tons. It's more than a 30 or 20 to 1 power to weight ratio, which to me is the threshold for quote unquote a great mobility on any tank really. But it's what I use to judge mediums in specifically. So this is more like 35 power to weight ratio, maybe even higher. I haven't done the math or anything, but it's pretty insane. That's going to get you that acceleration to move back and forth and do these kind of pop out snapshots and just kind of screwing with enemy team and stuff like that. Is that acceleration? You can stop, take a shot, you know, or do something, and then quickly get on the move again with that acceleration. It's really awesome. Speed limit 64. I definitely get into the 40s, 50s, and, you know, 60 if I'm going downhill and stuff. It definitely has a nice top speed. Adding all that to this 84 traverse, I think that is, combined traverse, is crazy. The track traverse could be a little quicker, in my opinion. It would be nice if it was a little faster. But I mean, you can't really compete with high-tier Russian tanks for track traverse. You just can't, because they're so beastly. But combined with the turret speed, it's nothing to complain about. This thing is pretty awesome. Armor, again, none to speak of, but you should get used to that, because when you get into tier 10 games, tier 9 and 10, the armor's pointless. So, I mean, you're going to get ding shots sometimes, but you should act like you don't have any armor ever. That's kind of how you have to play this game now. And you've heard me say that countless times in the past month or more, is that That's the way the game is now. Act like you don't have armor. So again, you don't have any really, so you don't expect dings, especially on this flat turret armor. You might think, wow, I got 76. Yeah, but it's flat, so they're going to go right through it. Plus, there is no armor right here. There is no mantlet, basically. A lot of the British tanks are like that. They have no mantlet, and you can shoot right through it. That's kind of a big hole right there. So, yeah, no armor to speak of. 360 view range, pretty standard for tier 6s anyway. It's, you know, it's not great, it's not bad. 550 meter radio, not the greatest. Usually I'm looking for 700. That's like the max pretty much in most tanks. But 550 is fine. You're really not going to fall out of radio range with people. Maybe if you're at the furthest edges of the map and they're in a tier 4 with a really bad radio or something like that. Generally, you know, 550 is going to be fine. So let's go over module upgrades here. I think you're already going to, yeah, Crusader, you're already going to have this radio, so just throw it on immediately. Because I think Crusader is what leads up to this. Yeah, okay, Crusader, tier 5. Track, obviously you're going to need that to get all your extra modules and stuff, and we'll talk about that in research, why you need it. You do get, wow, no, that's just 2 degrees per second, which is standard. On almost every tank. It seems like the track upgrade is always 2 degrees per second, so not a huge upgrade from 34, but mainly you're getting the track for the added weight capacity, so you can throw on like the turret and stuff like that. Engine, I'm not sure which one you start out with. I don't think you get this up the top engine. I think you start out with the middle engine. Cromwell, no. Comet, no. Maybe you do start out with the crappiest engine. Yeah, Crusader. So you're going to start out with this crappy engine. 410 horsepower, pushing 28, is about 16 to 17 to 1. It's not bad. It's actually decent, but it's not that great. It's actually more like, yeah, it's probably about 16 or 17. It's not bad, but it's nothing like when you get the 650. The 650 is just amazing, and you'll see when you get it that it's just retarded. The 410 is pretty okay. The tank's just not as fun with the 410, but it's not horrible. It's just not a lot of fun like it is now. The tank, with the way it is fully unlocked like this, is just loads of fun. The gun, the mobility, everything is ridiculous on this tank. I love playing this tank. It's a lot better than the Crusader, which the Crusader was already pretty good. The only problem I really have with the Crusader was that gun. And you will, now that we're up to the gun, or let's talk about the turret a little bit. Same view range, no real upgrade there, no upgrade at all in this turret. You probably do get a reload upgrade a little bit when you upgrade the turret, and you get a few hit points, but it's probably nothing to really write home about, so we won't even talk about it. But you do need it for the upgraded guns, so you're going to have to get it regardless. Let's see what we need for this middle gun here. Yeah. You're going to need it for the most upgraded gun, so you're going to obviously have to get it. But there's really no advantage to this turret. It's pretty much exactly the same. There's a slight advantage, but it's almost negligible. So you should start out with this gun. Yeah, there's the Crusader. So you're going to get this kind of mid-grade gun. And this is, again, the only problem I really have with the Crusader was it has 110 pen with 75 damage. Now, on a tier 5, that's fairly average. But when you have this on a tier 6, it's bad. 110 is not enough anymore. If you're flanking, you can pick out weak points on the flank and get some good shots, or some tanks, the whole side you can hit it anywhere and you're going to go through. But you definitely have to flank when you have this mid-tier gun. It's not very good. It's a tier 5 gun, so it's an undergun. It's a gun that's just, it's undergun basically when you have this thing on. It's got an insane reload rate, but again, 75 damage, 110 pen, not enough. Especially since you're not going to be able to sit there out in the open and firing rapidly at a guy until he's dead. That's just not going to happen. You're probably going to have to pop out, get a shot, pop back, pop out. You're not going to get the complete reload rate of that gun. It's very rare that you're going to be able to just sit there and machine gun a guy down like that without taking any shots or anything. It's just not. That's not going to happen. When you do upgrade to this top gun, look at that. 35 pen increase, that's like 30%. 145 pen, again, that's plenty for even almost up to tier 8, that's enough if you're going to get side shots. But again, 145 will get you some front shots, especially for picking out weak points. 135 damage, that is almost double the damage, and the reload rate drops in a lot. But again, like I said, since you're not sitting out there machine gunning people anyway, that's not very realistic. You need to pop back into cover and stuff. I'm fine having a slightly less, a gun that doesn't reload as fast, because I definitely can use this kind of stats to my advantage a little bit more than this other gun. Also, The aim time, you're going to suffer on aim time a little bit, but the accuracy is better on this Top Gun, which is awesome because the accuracy is a little bit of an issue in that 110 gun. I noticed it a lot in the Crusader and obviously with the Cromwell. For most of my time in it so far, I've noticed kind of an issue. The aim time, again, on this larger gun, a little bit heavier, but by the time your crew should be kind of picking up a little bit. As you can see, mine's in the 80s, and so the aim time should be fairly similar between the two guns. You're going to notice a difference, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. The aim time's not that bad. The reason why it feels like the aim time is worse than 2.3 is because your crew is not 100%. At least mine's not. The way I like to do it is I 100% my crew before I go to tier 7. So even if I unlock the Comet here, I'll keep driving this tank till my crew's on 100%, so I can transfer over 100% crew, spend 100,000, and get them to 90%. Because at tier 7 and above, you really do need 100% crews. You can't really drive around with like a 80% crew or something like that. You're going to have a really hard time. So anyway, those are the modules. Let's get into some research. Hold on. So here's the tech tree of the Cromwell. And the first thing that should jump out at you is the low XP values needed for the engine. So you're going to get those right away. 1500, 1900, really easy to get. Probably your first couple of wins in this tank, you should get that much XP. Especially if it's like a ×3 or ×5 weekend, you're definitely going to get that much. And you don't need these tracks until you get the top gun. So the way I would do this is the engines first, then I would go after the turret, because you will get a little bit of benefit out of the turret. You can load that without getting the tracks. After that, get the tracks, and then you'll load this top gun. It won't be too bad. After that, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to be using the 6-pounder until you put on that 75mm, but once you get that 75mm, this tank is crazy. So that's pretty much the tech tree. Not too difficult. Just remember, get the engines first. You'll have all your mobility once you do that, pretty much, and you'll have a lot more fun in this tank once you do that. So let's get back to my garage. Alright, we're back from research, and this is where I like to talk about equipment and consumables and stuff like that. Now, everybody knows, well, if you've been watching my videos, that I don't get equipment until tier 7 or above. On TDs, I will get a camo net just because I can take it off. But in general, I don't buy equipment until I get to tier 7 because it makes it way too hard. If you spend that much cash up front, it tends to be pretty hard to get the next higher tier tanks, and so I don't really worry about it until tier 7. A lot of that also is because I have so many high tier tanks, I can't afford that much equipment. So if I did get equipment, I think this is going to be pretty standard. I haven't really looked, but you're going to get vents, and you're going to get rammer, and you're going to get vert stab, which you don't have, so you'll probably get the laying drive. And that's so you can get that aim time down. It's going to help a lot, especially since you don't have 100% crew, most likely. So that's probably what I would get. And then if you wanted more view range, though, if you're trying to do more spotting and stuff, you could get coated optics. That will increase your view range a little bit. I don't really recommend that. I still think probably the laying drive is a little bit better option, especially since you'll be needing to do more snapshot stuff. Now, if you're worried about gold or whatever, you can get the toolbox. That should help your repair speed, since, again, you probably won't have 100% crew. It just kind of depends on how you do your crews. So let's talk about shells. This is pretty much going to be how it is until they change HE. 4 HE shells to reset cap, the rest AP. That's how I do it. With these gold shell, oh, and also a small repair kit, because tiers 5 and 6, I only have a small repair kit. I don't have the fire extinguisher or the what's the small heal kit. So because again, to me, it doesn't feel cost effective. So let's look at this gold round though. The gold round, the pen on the gold round is fairly high. If I could just look at it, 212 or 202. That's pretty insane. The gold round on this tier 5 gun is 180. I'm sure that's a gold grab right there. 70 more pen for the gold round, and they're probably thinking, oh man, 110, I need this gold round really bad. So it's up to you whether you want to get gold. I don't do it because, in my opinion, it makes the game more fun, which most of you should know. So let's talk about crew. Your crew is going to look something like this in the 80s or so, 85. If you drive a lot of high tier tanks that are 100% crew, you're going to notice a lag for aiming and things like that. You're going to be like, come on, come on, come on, aim in on this guy. I only have a certain amount of time. And that's just because your crew is not 100% yet. They have no repair skill or anything, so repairing your track takes a long, long time. It just is what it is, and that's why I do carry one repair kit. But in general, this tank is just loads of fun. You're going to have lots of fun with this tank. It's just so fast. It feels a lot like, if you like Russian mediums, this tank is a lot like it, except without the nice turret armor on the high tier Russian mediums. It's a little less mobile too, but the gun is just ridiculous on this thing. It feels actually more like probably like an American medium. Except American mediums, again, have the turret armor. But for low tiers, they obviously don't. But so if you like those tanks, you'll probably like this tank. Let me get into a couple games and show you what I'm talking about. I do have one game with the medium gun, so you can see how crappy it is. And then I have another game with this long gun. So hold on a second, let me get those. So here's the first game I wanted to show you. It's not that great of a game, and it's actually the only game I have with the 6-pounder. And I wanted to show you the 6-pounder instead of just showing you both games with the big gun, because we know the big gun's awesome. Now, luckily in this game, I am spawned in as tier 6, which is the highest tier in this game, so the 110 pen is not such a detriment. It still is a detriment, which you will see in a little bit. But if I was in a tier 10 or tier 8 match, it's horrible. You pretty much are going to be spotting if you're in a tier 8 match. If you can get some flank and sight and back shots, then great, you know, because then you can actually pen. But 110 pen, even on the side of a tier 8, can be a pain in the ass sometimes. And even then, you're only doing 75 damage per shot. And so how long can you stay out there before, like, the T-34 heavy tank swings its gun over and shoots you for more than half your life? Probably not very long. So it's definitely a grind when you're doing the 6-pounder. Once you unlock that big gun, you're going to have a lot more fun in this tank, trust me. Even in tier 8 games, you can do some damage. Like I said, sometimes from the front, depending on the tank, you can hit weak spots, but definitely from the side and the back, you're going to have lots of fun in this tank, even in tier 8 games. So, a lot of us going hill here, really almost nobody going 1-2 line. As a flanking medium, I generally can't just hold a lane all by myself. So there's the 68 damage on an Electo, a tier 4, that's kind of obvious damage there. But the low damage is kind of what I wanted to show you as well with this gun. It's pretty crappy. And the accuracy is pretty bad. So there you go. I'm trying to do a snapshot on the T20, that T1 there, a tier 5, bounces. If this was the big gun, that would have went through no problems. 145 pen would have went through. I don't know if it hit the mantlet or not. It might not have went through, but if it hit any other part of the turret, it would have went through. So here's some side turret. Again, that's me just trying to get shots, but without exposing myself too much. Remember the name of the game, and there I go, exposing myself too much to try to get a shot. 3485, a pretty nice sniping spot right there. Not helping his team a lot because, well, I guess he is. He's getting damage on the enemy. So there's a jumbo, bounces off the side. Now the jumbo is notorious for armor, so that's not really a good test of this gun. But bouncing off a T1 heavy is pretty much shows you that the gun here just does not have the pen to do the job. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you too much of the pen of this gun. I really wish I had a better game to show you with this gun, but I just don't. This is the only one I have with this gun, so it is what it is. But it's really nice with mobility. You can see I'm doing a lot of spotting here, keeping people spotted, so everybody else can kill them, basically. Which, if you've been playing low tiers, you're pretty used to this. Not being the top dog kind of a guy. This isn't a KV-1S, you know. Wolverine yellowing on this jumbo. He's not going to pen him, probably. KV-1S does the work there. 3485 killing the Wolverine. He's over there sniping. So I'm saying, hey, he's over there. And there he is, gets another hit on another guy. 3601 takes that guy out. There's a KV-1. That's something I can pen in this tank. Now, with the KV-1, they're going to get weird dings. You should be able to pen them on the side every time with this gun, but no dice. There's the accuracy rearing its ugly head. Let's see if I can get a hit on this guy. Look at the reticle on that thing. So no, accuracy kind of says screw you again. There we go. Get a nice little hit on the 85. Not really known for armor. But the accuracy of this gun, you cannot really snipe with it. You can try, it can be okay, but it's not going to be like a nice German gun, you know. The 6-pounder isn't anyway. So here we go, side of the turret. Oh, there it is. It hit him right in the machine gun port. Didn't pen on the angled armor there. There we go, right through the soft part of the KV-1. So KV-1s you can fight, but again, that's a tier 5. So yeah, you should be able to fight a tier 5 and you're tier 6, right? So, not doing very good here, only 264 damage. You're going to have lots of low damage games with the 6-pounder just because, for one, the pen, well, the pen's mainly why. 2, the accuracy is pretty bad. And that's really, and 3, the damage is low, and you're not going to be able to get, 50 shots off on a guy. So one thing I do sometimes in this tank, especially in these games where I'm the high tier, is I'll trade damage, because I know I can soak more damage than, like, I don't know, that Wolverine. I have, like, he has probably about 500 hit points, 520 or something like that. And, I have 700, so I can trade shots with him as long as my shots connect. So you're going to see a little bit of the issue with this gun, not in pen, but in accuracy coming up here. Because even when you're doing the damage trade to try to kill somebody who you really have to kill, you still have a hard time with this tank. With this gun, 6-pounder. So you can see the mobility, pretty awesome right there. You just saw me driving around pretty quick. I do have the top engine right here, getting jacked up. Can't see the M8A1 right there. 67 damage. M8A1, one of the best tier 4s in the game, in my opinion. Just a really beastly tank with that turret on it. Just makes it so sick, and it's got an awesome gun. So 3601, probably never going to get hit on this guy, but let's try it. Look at the reticle. Look how large it is. It would probably come down if I wait, but it's not doing it right now because I keep firing. That's another thing with that reload. The reload's awesome, but every time you shoot, it blooms the reticle, right? So if your reload is faster than your aim time, you're not going to get the full reload of that gun unless you're like right in someone's face. If you have to wait for the reticle to come down, you just cut that reload time, and so it's really not that beneficial. Not as beneficial as it would be. So here we go, M8A1. There's accuracy showing its ugly face. I'm trying to do damage trade to just kill this guy. He's only got 265 hit points. I've been penning him quite a bit. Oh, getting side shot. Again, accuracy showing its really crappiness here. And I can't even get the kill on the guy. Part of that is my crew, although I do have an 80% crew, I think, in this video. It might be a 75% crew. But still, a tier 6 should not have that kind of problems. So yeah, the accuracy is pretty bad again on the 6-pounder. The 6-pounder is not bad. I think you get the 6-pounder when you're tier 4, actually. I believe. Don't quote me on that. Tell me if that's incorrect. But in tier 4, this gun's amazing. The 6-pounder is ridiculous. But by the time you get to tier 6, this is just not cutting the mustard anymore. So it is what it is, and you just have to grind out the higher tier gun. Once you get it, though, it's well worth the grind because it makes this tank so much fun. So that's going to be the game for this. 487 damage on a 700 hit point tank. Not very good. Again, a lot of that is just the gun. I'm going to show you another game where if I was in this with this gun, I would not have the same game I'm about to show you. I want to show you the difference between the Top Gun. Hold on a sec. So here's that second game I was telling you about. Let's look at this Top Gun. I do have it, 145 pen, 135 damage. And look at that reload. Not too bad. I wish it would show on the mod, the little reload mod, but it does not. So, mobility, still awesome. I'm going to go Donut. This is a really old map. It's a pretty obvious map. Cliff, standard battle. Kind of obvious to go to the Donut. Oh, look at my stats, 52% now. It must be going up. Oh no, that's on this tank. It's still at 51% overall. 8,000 games played. Interesting. So, what's 0H? Not really sure what that is. 0 hours in this tank? Oh, 0,000 games or something? 0,100? Anyway. So I'm going Donut. This is a great place to go on this map if you're a little fast medium like myself. Because you can get flank shots down into the valley on E, F, and G. But you can also get shots across F over to the other side. Pretty nice little area, and if they're sleeping at the wheel, you can surround them around this donut. So this is a nice spot. Just be careful, especially if there's arty. I've already checked there's no arty, so that is really could have been a lot nicer, but it is what it is. So if there's arty though, you just don't want to pull up past this rock. In fact, right where I am, I can get hit by arty, but luckily there's no arty in this game. So you can see I've already had a chance to get a shot at somebody over here. Now I'm going to pull up a little bit just to see if anybody's over here. I think the D was the only guy over here. He's already dead, so that would have been a nice, juicy target. Wolverine, I'm going to wait till I come all the way in. There we go, 130 damage. A lot different than that 75 damage from the 6-pounder. And the guy already pulled back anyway. I maybe could have got 2 shots on him with the other gun, and they would have pinned both times. But I might not have hit them because the accuracy is a lot worse. So I don't know. Now we've got a JPZ-4 here and a KV-1S. Here we go. Nice. Reload, not too bad. Shooting at the back of a KV-1S, I easily could have hit this guy with the other gun, with the 110 pen. But again, accuracy could have been an issue. Once you're over a couple hundred meters, or like over 100 meters, it's kind of dicey. So he's out of here. Pushed him up to face the other enemies. Now you can see what I'm doing right here are other allies of mine. I'm pulling these guns off of our tanks. Like this JPZ-4 has to deal with me. The Dicker Max also is dealing with me. That means they're not dealing with the other guys. So there's obviously also where the pen and accuracy come into play. I just did that snapshot on the JPZ-4 because I have the pen to do it and I have the accuracy to do it. Those snapshots are a real big deal. And I was trying to get another one there, but it didn't happen. So I'm thinking I'm just going to trade damage with this guy now that he's at 300 and something. Now he's got the 70, I think, which means he can fire pretty fast too. Now I'm getting hit by two different guys, but I need to take this guy out. So I traded a pretty much even damage right there, maybe a little bit more than I needed to, but I wanted to take that guy out of the game. Because the JPZ-4 in this kind of game can be a pretty decent tank. It's got mobility. It's got the guns to get the job done in a Tier 6 battle. There's another snapshot, Church 3 right there. He's almost dead now. So this gun makes a huge difference to how well you can play in this tank and what kind of damage you can inflict on the enemy. So Dicker Max, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to drive out and let him shoot me in the side. I'm just going to wait till my buddies can move up like that T-40 right there. Now he pulls his gun off me. I can maybe take this Church 3 out. Not a great snapshot there, but now I figure, okay, he shot again. Let's get out there, take the snapshot in the side. Took a little bit more of my time so I could get the kill on him. I knew his damage could not kill me. If I'd have got one more crap shot, I would have stopped. So once the Dicker Max was off me, I was okay to pull over. A lot better game there. 1,200 damage on a 750 hit point tank. So you can see here, I actually did not have the upgraded turret in the previous video. So it was 700 hit points. So the turret gets you 50 hit points, 8%. Not really a huge deal, but it is what it is. So you can see you're going to do a lot better once you get that top gun. This tank is fun to play, and you're going to You're going to wreck the enemy team with it. So tell me what you think about this tank. I think it's fun. I heard the comment was pretty crappy, but I guess I'll have to wait to see what I think about it. So see you guys later.